It no longer matters if Trump is good or bad. Good morning, everybody. JT here, Serenity Farms, prepping. So by now, lines are drawn. Most people are firmly in their camp, refusing to stray from their tribes. Their ideology is what it is. Now, we have three tribes as I see it. You have the Magite Q-Tard tribe who refuse to entertain the thought that anything and everything Trump says or does can easily have a very nefarious purpose. They just simply refuse. They believe that it's all part of a grand plan, and there's nothing you can do to sway them. Now, I firmly believe that a lot of the Magites do question many of the things Trump has said or did, and how he seems to be becoming more vile and abusive whenever he's asked a question or simply talking about a topic. But they're afraid. They've seen what's happened to real patriots who dare question the narrative. For instance, Massey, MTG, Rand Paul, and others. Then on the far opposite end of the spectrum, you have the Demtards. As we've all heard, Trump could come out with a cure for cancer, and the left would intentionally go try and get cancer to spite him. Some of them secretly are pleased with some of the things Trump is doing because they're going to benefit, but they can never admit that. While others are TDS, they have been for years and years, and unfortunately, I think some of the issues that they opined about and screamed at the sky for years might be true, but it wouldn't matter. Hey, folks, oxygen is really good for you. I'm going to hold my breath. I'll show Trump. Okay, good. Go ahead. And then there's the group. Yeah, I don't want to say the middle because I am farther right than any of the current Magites who have compromised any conservative values they may have had just because Trump says something will work. But there are a group in the middle, very likely not Demtards, don't agree with 99.99% of anything those evil demons want, are very conservative, truly America first, and want everything that we see happening to stop. But the point of this video is it does not matter what camp, what tribe you are in. Whether Trump is deep state or not doesn't matter anymore. Here's why. If he actually is doing things that are good for America, then the so-called deep state will do anything to stop him. They hate America, they hate him, and they hate you and I especially. If Trump is part of them, then everything that we thought was coming is coming at warp speed, dare I say. So I can remember just a few short years ago, like maybe one, that the MAGites were the prepping crowd. They were preparing for every possible SHTF on the planet. They didn't know if Trump would win the 24 election or not. They were preparing for a worst case scenario. And you heard about it. You read about it. There were many groups talking about it, helping each other out. Since January 24, there have been crickets. I am shocked. Now, that doesn't mean some of these folks aren't still preparing, but for them to actively come out on social media sites and push the prepping angle, they're not sure how they could go about that, because it would appear that they have no faith in Trump and everything MAGA by telling people to continue to prep. But in reality, they should be pushing it now harder than ever if they truly believe Trump is a good guy, because they're also trumpeting, you like that? That the deep state will do anything to stop Trump. So that's where we're at. I personally have upped my game, shifted gears, put the pedal to the metal. Now, there wasn't a lot more I could do except more of the same. I had to tighten up some things, reconfigure some heat sources, some water supplies, just make those better and more efficient. Because I am human, and like most humans, I got a little complacent after going full bore for a few years. Because at some point, it's tiring, emotionally and physically draining. And when we go years and years with nothing ever happening like we've been promised, you tend to the boy who cried wolf scenario, or that chicken whose sky is falling. But I have awoken from that temporary slumber. I got a nap, if you will, and I feel refreshed and refocused, and I hope you do too. I truly think we all need to be prepping more than ever. So I have kicked in my prepper community plans at the compound, and I am actively searching for other preppers who realize, like I do, that things are not always like they seem, and that we need to prepare. But what I'm doing, and I'm not the first, I didn't think of this, I saw it and decided this would be a very good alternative for me as well. On my 56 acres, I have plenty of space to install several off-grid 10 by 10, maybe 10 by 16 cabins. They will be equipped with small heaters and 300 or 400 watt solar generators, but they're going to be purchased by other preppers. Maybe not all of them, but some of them. These preppers think like I do, but I'm presenting it to them with, you buy this cabin, I'll fix it up, And if nothing happens, I will be renting these out as Airbnb or off-grid cabin experiences for 8 months a year due to restrictions for campgrounds. The people who buy these cabins are going to want to have provisions up here. I fortunately have an old barn, and I'm going to get a big storage container and develop that into smaller storage units for all the people who buy a prepper cabin to store all their stuff up here, because it can't be in the cabin if we're using it as a rental. And then if SHTF happens, when they come up, they already have stuff here on site that they can get and bring to that cabin. Now, these cabins are being designed in mind that whatever happens, hopefully is only a few months or a year, and that people will be able to return to their homes in some sense of beginning a normal life again. So I need people to understand that these are a temporary fix, hopefully. And if this goes on 6-8 months where nothing happens, they have the opportunity to add or subtract certain items from what they're storing. Plus, they also had the advantage that they'll be able to store way more stuff than they can put in their little cabin, but it's right on the ground so that they still have access to it. Obviously, in a 10 by 10 little prepper cabin, you can't bring all the furniture from your 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath house. That's just not gonna work. This is a bug out location, so to speak, until whatever happens smooths over. Up where we live, we're rather isolated from all cesspool shithole cities, so may not happen to the extent, but it might for a month or two, and people need a place to go. And if something does happen, or if it passes quickly and things get back to some sense of normality, and it turns out that Trump was really a good guy and America's economy really is the best in the world, then we can flourish, and these folks all will have actual investment money coming in. Now, obviously, these folks, they buy the cabin and they pay me a yearly fee to have it on my property. One, I will be maintaining them. I will be managing them. I will be insulating them and fixing them up, arranging rentals, all that stuff. But it's on my property, so they will pay a yearly fee. And then each person and I will work out the details of profit sharing per night rental. So it's, in my opinion, a win-win. Now, many of these people kind of live in suburbia, not out in the middle of nowhere like I do, but they realize even on a street of 15 houses only, like a cul-de-sac or something, 10 of those houses, those folks are going to lose their ever-loving minds if something happens, even for 3 weeks. And they're going to come looking and knocking. So having a place to go, yeah, your house is going to be unguarded, very likely. Small things might happen. That's for you to decide. You close it up best you can. As soon as you do it, you're asking people to, why did they do that? They boarded up the windows and I need to see what's in there. And people are just going to be starving. But that is one of the things that could transpire if anything goes wrong. So with that, I don't care where you live. If you think this is something that may be interesting, feel free to reach out on the channel, and I can figure out some way to get you a private message, and we can go from there. But that's what I'm doing. I know it's kind of risque because I got to invest a lot of money. I have a couple other investors who want nothing to do with being preppers, this, that, and the other thing, but are looking for ways to make more money. And I will gladly accept their money, with full disclosure, what it's about, what's going on, so on. So I think it's a win-win. I actually did start doing this a couple years ago, clearing the property and that kind of stuff. And I said I got complacent. I was worried about zoning issues. I'm in upstate New York. There's a lot of crap in the Adirondack Park. But I have another option if I can't do what I want to do on my own property. So that's where I'm headed. I hope you guys are prepping like crazy. You gotta admit, things can go sideways in a second, and very likely are gonna. We don't know what it will be. We know several things it could be. We don't know how long. That's the unknown. But nonetheless, step it up. Let me know what you think. Have a great day. JT, signing out.